Yo, what's up everybody? It's your boy Crazy Out Cayne, sugarcayne.com, CACTV, right here about to talk about the 2020 Bike of the Year. 2020 was a great year for Bike of the Day / Bike of the Month. Over 100 bikes were sent in, and we had a nice variety of 20-inch bikes, 24-inch bikes. We had a couple of dirt jumpers for the first time. Had a couple 29-inch bikes. Didn't have a flatland bike. We got to do something about that for 2021. We didn't have a flatland bike. We didn't have an official flatland bike submitted. We definitely need more 26s submitted. But really great year. We had some old school bikes, new school bikes, chromoly, aluminum, carbon. No titanium. We need a titanium bike. But right now, I'm going to get into the Bike of the Year thing. There were so many cool bikes that I decided to add more categories to this Bike of the Year thing. So along with Bike of the Year, I have other criteria that I'm going to be breaking down before we get to the actual Bike of the Year. And these are all based off of people's votes. So people come to the website, they rate the bike, and the top rated bike winds up winning Bike of the Year and the best of whatever. With the exception of Editor's Choice, all of these are based off of viewers' votes, people who came to the site and actually rated the bike. If you've been following this series this whole time, there's definitely some bikes you're gonna be like, nah, that bike should have got that. So yes, there's gonna be a lot of controversy after this one is posted. So let's go into Park Bike of the Year. This is the top rated street or park bike that was on the Bike of the Year chart, and it is the Sunday Soundwave sent in by Tony Weaver. That's right, this bike won. It got the most votes. It's the highest on the chart for street park bikes. Style-wise, this bike had it going on. I'm gonna run down a list of parts for you guys right now. That's right, this is a 2019 Sunday Soundwave V3 with the ocean blue colorway. It's got the Odyssey Hazard Light Flow yellow hoops. It's got the Odyssey Vandero front hub. The Odyssey Quartet 9-tooth cassette rear hub. Odyssey 22mm bottom bracket. Odyssey R32 forks. Odyssey Evo 2 Flow yellow brakes, son. Odyssey slick cable with that Flow yellow colorway. The brake lever is an Odyssey mono lever med with the Flow yellow colorway. The headset is an Odyssey Pro conical with the Flow yellow colorway. Grips, Odyssey Aaron Ross emoji with that Flow yellow colorway. Pedals, Odyssey Twisted 9/16 with that Flow yellow colorway. The seat, Odyssey Monogram Pivotal. Seat post, Odyssey Monogram Pivotal Post. The seat post clamp is a Sunday Slim. The bars, BSD Safari 9.5-inch rise. The cranks are 170mm Merit Battles with that 20mm spindle. Big shout out to Tony Weaver. He is the winner of the best park street bike of 2020 according to the voters. And he also won Bike of the Month too with that bike. So he got a double win for 2020. Nice. Alright, so the next one is the most unique bike of 2020. This one is not based off of viewers' votes. This is based off of the uniqueness factor. So we had a couple bikes on here that were real unique. We had that Minor 29er, the crazy geometry on that because it was made for somebody who was hella tall. There was also the 1995 Hawk F20 XL. We also had the classic GT Performers, the Hutch Trickstars that were also featured on here. They were unique, but not unique enough. There was also the Daylight Arc C1 Glory build, which was pretty unique. I mean, we have a bunch of Daylights on the list, but the paint job on that definitely was unique with the Stars and Stripes colorway. And there was also that 1997 DYNO Comp that had that Tiffany's colorway going on with it. It also had a backpack and fanny pack that matched the pads on the bike. It was definitely unique, but it wasn't the only dyno that we had on the list, which made it less unique than the bike that actually won. But that Tiffany's concept was really fire. Now those bikes were unique, but the most unique bike that we had 2020 was this 2000 UFO 24-inch Pro Cruiser. This bike right here, now this was unique. As a matter of fact, I've never seen a UFO before. Pun intended. Now this bike was sent in by Mark Small. It's a 2000 UFO 24-inch Pro Cruiser. It has that boxy square tubing going through the middle. It also has those motocross inspired forks on there. So let's get into the parts list right now. He's got a Handbrinky Triple Tree aluminum fork. The headset is Chris King. His stem is made by Profile. He's rocking those ARS rental motocross handlebars. He's got the ODI Ruffian grips. LDC 2-finger brake lever. Tioga Spider for the seat, son. Croupy Rhythm seat clamp. He's got a Croupy seat post. He's got those Welgo trap pedals, son. His cranks and bottom bracket are the FSA afterburners. He's rocking a Croupy hollow pin chain. He's got those Ansa Alulite super light wheels. He's got profile chain tensioner. And Maxxis tires. Big shout out to Mark Small for sending that bike in. That was the most unique bike that we had for 2020. Next bike we have is the best junior or mini build of 2020. I have to give that to Riding Jacobson, aka Riding Dirty. This bike got a lot of love in 2020. One of the most rated bikes in 2020. I wanted to make a category to give a shout out to all the kids who ride those juniors and minis. So big up to Riding Jacobson on his win. And he actually won already. He won for the month. He's a second time winner for 2020 for his bike. So he won Bike of the Month, and he also won Junior Mini Bike of the Year. So shout out to Riding Jacobson. Big up, big up, big up. Let's talk about those parts in that bike. He's got some Box XE carbon forks, bombshell carbon handlebars with a 5-inch rise, ODI Vans grips. He's got the Pro Max Blue mini brakes, a Box 1 headset, a Box 2 mini stem. He's rocking those Ansa 145mm cranks. He's got a Box 1 titanium bottom bracket, Tangent 48 chainring, a Tangent 18-tooth cog. He's rocking a gold KMC X9 SL chain. He's got Tangent pedals, son. Tangent chainring bolts. He's got Box 1 rims with blue nipples, a single gold spoke, and Onyx hubs. He's got those Maxxis DTH tires, son. A Box 1 carbon seat. And his seat clamp is a Box 2 in blue. Big shout out to Rodden, aka Rodden Dirty Jacobson, for sending his bike in, and congrats on your second win for 2020. So we had a lot of really nice cruisers that were submitted for 2020, and the people came and they rated on the bike that they liked the most. But before we get into the cruiser of the year, let me do some honorable mentions before we get into that. The Gary Turner 24-inch in that Dragon's Blood colorway was fire. I love that one. Of course, that Daylight Arc Glory was another one that was dope. That polished Daylight 24 was fire too. I really like that one. That 29-inch GT Street Performer with the E6 silencers on it, that was dope. The GT Speed Series with that blue and neon colorway, that was fire. But the highest rated cruiser for 2020 was the Daylight Arc C1 24-inch with that Opal colorway, sent in by Katie Piotti. Big up to Katie Piotti. She sent this bike in back in May, and it's been riding high on top of the charts for a very long time. It actually was in the top 5 for Bike of the Year. So this bike right here was very popular. Let's get into those parts. Let's talk about the parts, son. She had the Avian Carbon Versus Pro tapered forks. She had tangent bars, tangent stem, Daylight Carbon tapered headset, the ODI Ruffian grips. Her brakes were the Hope Tech 3 hydraulics. She's rocking the Renan chainring, Shimano DXRs. Her pedals was the HT T1SX, Onyx Ultra hubs. She got the Daylight Edition Epic Carbon rims, titanium spokes, y'all, and the Maxxis DTH tires. Big shout out to Katie Piotti for submitting that awesome bike, and that is the Cruiser of the Year. Now, the next bike is Vintage Bike of the Year. Vintage BMX Bike of the Year. We had a lot of awesome vintage bikes that were sent in. So many of them were really incredible, but it was up to the viewers to rate which bike they wanted to be number 1. And we're going to get into that in a second, but first I have to do some honorable mentions here. The 1985 GT World Tour with the burgundy colorway inspired by Eddie Fiola. That bike was crazy. There was also the 1985 Trickstar in Chrome. I gotta mention that DYNO. I gotta mention that 1997 DYNO Comp again with the Tiffany's colorway. I know it's not to spec and all that as far as colorway is concerned, but it's still a vintage bike, and it was looking really awesome. Shout out to Doro III for hooking that one up. 1985 Harold FST sent in by Tim Hokley, another really dope bike. That pink 1985 Hutch Trickstar was another banger. The white 1985 Redline RL22 was another banger. I also really like the teal RL22 that was sent in. That bike was sick. But the #1 vintage bike of the year is the 1986 GT Pro Performer with that Day Glow orange colorway sent in by Jason Orlandini. This bike got the top rating for vintage bike of the year. Let's get into those parts, son. He's got the GT frame, the GT fork standard. He's got the GT mallet stem. He got the GT Epic headset, GT Power Series cranks, GT Power Disc and chain ring. He's got the NOS GT tires on there. He's got a GT frame extender. He's got the GT seat clamp, GT seat with the gold foil. He's got SR 470 pedals, Diacomp Tech 7 levers, Diacomp Nippon front brake, Diacomp 901 brakes in the back. He's got some NOS AME grips, and of course, he's got some Skyway Tough Wheels on that bike. This bike looked like it came right out the catalog from the 80s. This joint is fire. Big shout out to Jason Orlandini for having the highest rated vintage bike of 2020 on sugarcayne.com. That's right, your vote counts on sugarcayne.com. So the next bike is Dirt Jumper of the Year. So in 2020, I decided to add dirt jumpers to the bike of the day chart, and I got a bunch of dirt jumpers sent in. So I gotta give a shout out to the best dirt jumper of 2020. But before I do that, I gotta do those honorable mentions. The Ice BMX Pump Track 26 dirt jumper, that was really, really fresh. There was also the Daylight JPX Colorado build, which was amazing actually. But the #1 rated dirt jumper on sugarcayne.com for 2020 is the standard 26-inch dirt jumper sent in by Chris Klein. That's right, this bike right here actually was the first dirt jumper to be submitted for bike of the day, and it's also the highest rated dirt jumper. Let's get into these parts, fam. Alright, so of course you know it's a standard Bikeco 26-inch dirt jumper with a 21.5 top tube. Forks are 2011 X Fusion Velvet. He's got a standard stem. He's got the Black Market Molly Hatchet bars. Chris King hubs. He's got an I9 rim in the front and a Sun single track in the rear. He's rocking profile cranks. He's got performance bike private label flats. He had them on since 2010, son. He's also rocking Avid BB7 mechanical brakes. He's got a JW chain ring. He's rocking a Supercross seat post. He's got an Alienation seat, JW seat clamp. He's running Maxxis DTH tires. He's also rocking those ODI Vans waffle grips. Big shout out to Chris Klein for submitting that awesome bike, and big shout out to Rick Molinterno, BMX legend, legendary standard bike co, making dirt jumpers right now. So that's what's up. All right, now it's time for us to talk about the bike of the year, the #1 rated bike of the year. It's that 2020 Prophecy Stud Evo 3 sent in by James Kramer. Yeah, man, this bike right here is fire. It won Bike of the Month last year, and it's also winning Bike of the Year. So let's get into the parts right now. It's a 2020 Scud Evo 3 frame set and headset. It's got Supercross Carbon Pro bars with an 8.25 rise. It's got a Pro taper stem, ODI grips, Hope E4 calipers, Hope floating rotor. It's got a Hope Tech 3 brake lever. He's got Prophecy rims on this bike right here. He's got Rainbow TI spokes on this bike right here. He's got Onyx Ultra rear and Helix front hubs on this bike right here. He's got Tioga Faster X black tires on this bike right here. He's got a Prophecy carbon post on this bike right here. He's got a Tioga Spider seat. He's got Race Face 6C carbon cranks on this bike right here. He's got a Wheels manufacturing bottom bracket. And last but not least, he's rocking HTSX1 pedals. This bike right here was bananas. Sick bike, sick bike. All right, y'all, that is it 2020 Bike of the Year, Cruiser of the Year, Mini Junior of the Year, Street Bike of the Year, Dirt Jumper of the Year, and Most Unique Bike. Big congrats and big shout out to everybody who submitted their bikes. Big shout out to all the winners of these categories. I can't wait to see what you guys are going to submit this year for Bike of the Day. And as you already know, we're doing the Bike of the Month competition. We're going to continue with that. And of course, at the end of 2021, we'll be doing this all over again for Bike of the Year, all right? As you can see, my beard grew in a little bit because it took me forever to edit this segment. Oh my gosh, so much editing going on in this one. But it was definitely worth it, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below, which bike do you think should have won Bike of the Year? Was there anything that you didn't agree with? Was there some other bikes that you saw that should have won those different categories? Definitely come back to sugarcayne.com and check out all the bikes that were listed for last year. And let me know what you think should have won these categories, all right? Because at the end of the day, it's not up to me, it's up to the viewers. You got to come to the site, you got to rate these bikes. So enough talking about bikes, enough looking at bikes, enough rating bikes. I need y'all to go out and ride your bike, all right? It's Crazy Out Kane, and I'm out. Back to you, Billy.